open-door policy. So anytime he wants to come see me, he can come see me.
So you don't broach the subject matter, and you just figure he'll. But I imagine you'd want him to finish in a Laker uniform, right? That would be your choice.
That would be my choice, and he knows that's how I feel. But again, it's his story to tell, not mine.
LeBron is great. It's undeniable. He's had an amazing career. Who knows, when we'll see another player in the future have
Enough is enough. Those 3 words have ignited a fire that could burn down the entire kingdom. They didn't come from a critic, a rival, or a legend with an axe to grind. They came from inside the palace walls, from the owner's suite. For years, LeBron James has been the crown jewel of the Los Angeles Lakers, the face of the franchise, the guaranteed ticket to relevance. But now, following the most controversial summer in modern NBA history, a line has been drawn in the sand. A line drawn by the one person whose signature is on the checks and whose name is on the deed. A seismic, explosive report has just dropped, alleging that Lakers owner Jeanie Buss has finally reached her breaking point. That the circus, the drama, the sheer gravitational pull of the LeBron James universe is no longer worth it. That she wants him gone. This is the story of power, pride, and the point where business and legacy collide at the highest possible level. To understand the nuclear option, you have to understand the slow, grating buildup of pressure. For the Lakers front office, particularly for owner Jeanie Buss, the 2025 offseason wasn't a period of strategic planning. It was an unending storm of noise, where the basketball decisions were drowned out by the deafening roar of the LeBron James extended universe. It began, as it always does, with the shadow roster moves, the cryptic tweets from confidants, the articles from connected media outlets framing every potential free agent or trade target through the singular lens of, is this what LeBron wants? The Lakers' own war room strategy appeared, to the public, and perhaps to ownership itself, to be held hostage by external narratives. Every negotiation felt like it was happening on 2 levels, the official talks between executives and the unofficially sanctioned whispers in the media applying pressure. Then came the documentary, the self-produced, meticulously curated multi-part series chronicling LeBron's final chapter and his dream of playing with his son, Bronny. While a beautiful human story, for the Lakers' business side, it was a logistical and strategic nightmare. It turned the most sensitive, delicate personnel decision of the decade, drafting or signing Bronny, into a globally televised ultimatum. The franchise's draft board, its free agency plans, were no longer confidential. They were plot points in a reality show. The pressure to make a sentimentally driven basketball decision to fulfill a father-son dream on the world's most famous sports stage was immense and, to some in the organization, profoundly unfair. But the true breaking point, according to sourced reports, was the Council of Elders war. When Magic Johnson, Jeanie Buss's longtime mentor, friend, and a revered Lakers icon, publicly excoriated LeBron, it didn't just create a media firestorm, it created a deeply personal rift within the Lakers family. Jeanie was forced to watch a civil war between 2 of her franchise's most important figures, the legend who helped guide her to ownership, and the superstar who currently drives her franchise's value. The public ugliness, the inability to control the narrative, the sense that her organization was becoming a public laughingstock of drama, it reportedly created a profound frustration and powerlessness. The LeBron experience was no longer just about basketball. It was about managing a constant, high-stakes public relations crisis, where the franchise and its owner often felt like bystanders in their own story. The cost of doing business with a global icon was beginning to outweigh the benefits.
Me to LeBron. I'm going to defend LeBron on this point because the interviewer, Mark Medina, gave her 3 opportunities. He asked the question 3 times about exactly what is your relationship, some with Clutch, but also with just LeBron. And she said broad okay things about him, but she never gushed. I wanted her to say, LeBron is my new Kobe. Not that he can ever replace Kobe, but listen, I criticize LeBron, but when it comes to basketball IQ,
Should the Lakers trade LeBron James?
They should.
This is the best the Lakers have looked since they won the bubble championship.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves is playing at an all-star caliber level. I would argue that LeBron James and
For Jeanie Buss, this isn't a simple basketball decision. This is a heart versus head, legacy versus logic dilemma tearing at the very core of what she believes stewardship of the Lakers means. On one side, there is the undeniable, awe-inspiring force of LeBron James. He is a one-man economic stimulus package. He fills arena every single night. He drives global merchandise sales through the roof. He guarantees national television slots and digital engagement metrics that dwarf every other team. He is relevance in a league where falling out of the spotlight can last for decades. To even consider moving on from that is, from a pure business standpoint, terrifying. It's staring into an abyss of potential mediocrity and financial downturn. But on the other side is something less tangible, but to a Buss, perhaps more sacred: control, stability, and the long-term soul of the franchise. The reports suggest a growing sentiment within the ownership circle that the Lakers have become LeBron's team in a way that supersedes the organization itself. Draft picks, coaching decisions, roster construction, every move is scrutinized under the "does this please LeBron" microscope. The power dynamic has shifted. The player, even one of LeBron's stature, has traditionally been a piece on the Lakers' chessboard. Now it feels to some as if the board itself is being rearranged to suit one piece. The final, most personal straw may have been the Magic Johnson rift. Magic is not just a former player to Jeanie, he is family, a trusted advisor who stood by her during the turbulent battle for control of the team after her father's passing. To see him publicly disrespected and to feel the relentless media cycle that pitted her past against her present reportedly caused a deep sense of betrayal, not necessarily at LeBron himself, but at the situation. The situation that forces her to choose, that turns her franchise into a daily drama series. The enough is enough sentiment isn't just about fatigue with LeBron the player. It's about exhaustion from the constant state of high alert, crisis management mode that comes with LeBron the empire. The ledger may still show black ink, but the cost is being paid in peace, in autonomy, and in the quiet pride of running your family's legacy your way. The question has shifted from "can we win with LeBron" to "at what cost are we winning with LeBron?"
No way. There's no way. So if we're having questions of whether or not you're a Laker great as it compares to like Derek Fisher, then you're not a Laker great. Somebody said I'm drunk. What do you mean no, since 2000. Not, don't you gotta go. I'm drunk about what? What are you talking about drunk? I'm drunk as how? Wait, you're not seriously suggesting that LeBron is a Laker Mount Rushmore player since 2000?
I do not buy the LeBron trade rumors. The best contract you can have in professional basketball is a superstar in his prime. SGA, Jokic, Luka, those are the guys that win in May and June. The second best contract to me
friction,
is
once a whispered
highly
tension behind
productive
closed
player with
doors,
a lot of
has
season.
now allegedly erupted into a formal, shocking ultimatum. According to explosive reports from insiders close to the Lakers ownership group, a high-stakes meeting took place in early 2025, away from the practice facility, in the muted elegance of a private Beverly Hills office. On one side, Jeanie Buss and a small, trusted circle of longtime Lakers loyalists, the people who remember the days when the franchise moved in silent, decisive strokes. On the other, Rich Paul, the powerful founder of Clutch Sports and LeBron's primary representative. LeBron himself was not physically present, but his presence filled the room. The conversation, described as tense but chillingly professional, reportedly laid bare the fracture. The Buss side expressed, in clear terms, the organization's growing fatigue with the external noise, the perception of roster coercion, and the unsustainable drama. They framed it not as an attack on LeBron's greatness, but as a statement of operational reality. The current model was broken. The response from the LeBron camp, as relayed by sources, was not one of concession, but of reassertion. It was a reminder of the value brought to the table, the billions in generated revenue, the global spotlight, the very championship won in 2020 that validated Jeanie's ownership era. The underlying message was clear. This is the price of doing business with a transcendent historical figure. You don't get the statue without the scaffolding. It was here, sources claim, that the line was drawn. The Buss side, having reached their limit, presented the unthinkable, a mutual understanding that a fresh start might be in the best interest of both parties. They didn't demand a trade. That would be basketball suicide and a PR nightmare. Instead, they allegedly opened the door to it, signaling a stark lack of interest in a long-term extension or a sentimental farewell tour. The message was, we will not stand in your way if you seek a different final chapter. It was the professional equivalent of a relationship talk where one side says, I think we should see other people. The meeting ended without a resolution, but with a seismic shift in understanding. The unspoken contract of LeBron is a Laker for life had been nullified. The option was now on the table, leaked strategically to send a shockwave through the league and perhaps to force the Kings' hand. The Lakers were no longer begging LeBron to stay. They were giving him permission to leave. And in the high-stakes poker of the NBA, that is the most dangerous card an owner can play.
Yeah. But so I don't think that he was ever going to just come outright and do a trade request. So I keep looking at the statement. I'm like, I think this is as close to a trade request as LeBron is ever going to get to.
Yep.
And then with this reporting and everything that we've been hearing lately, I have backed off of that. I do think that he has stopped short of the trade request. I think that, and that's what all of the latest reporting and talk around LeBron James and the Lakers sort of indicates, is he's probably applying pressure. He might.
Tonight, we know that LeBron did not know this was coming. He was at a restaurant after leading the Lakers to a victory at MSG when he found this out. This is his running mate. This is his teammate at Clutch Sports. This is the guy that he...
The fallout from the leaked reports did not stay contained in boardrooms or insider blogs. It detonated across the Lakers universe, creating instant, violent factions where once there was a united fan base. Inside the Lakers' locker room, a cold, professional silence descended. Veteran players, many of whom tied their fortunes to LeBron's arrival, were reportedly stunned. Their futures, carefully constructed to align with his championship window, were suddenly thrown into a volatile limbo. The mood was described as a morgue with basketballs. Younger players and recent draft picks faced an impossible internal conflict. Do they publicly align with the generational star who dominates the present, or do they show silent loyalty to the ownership that holds their long-term rights? Practice became a minefield of unspoken alliances. But the true explosion happened online and in the streets of Los Angeles. The fan base fractured into two screaming, irreconcilable camps. On one side, outrage reached a fever pitch. Social media flooded with demands for ownership change and accusations of betrayal. The sentiment was clear. This was an act of sabotage by an owner who would rather reign over a mediocre team in silence than share the stage with a king who brings glory. She'd rather be the queen of a 30-win team than a partner to a king who brings championships, read one viral post. To this group, the potential move was the ultimate act of self-destructive pride, a cowardly surrender of championship aspirations simply to reclaim a control that was, in their eyes, illusory. On the other side, a wave of fierce, almost traditionalist vindication swept through longtime supporters. For them, this wasn't about firing a player, it was a long-awaited reclamation of identity. Comment sections filled with declarations like, "Finally, the Lakers are bigger than any player," and "We endured the lean years with loyalty. We don't need a mercenary empire running our show." They perceived the current era not as a new chapter of Lakers greatness, but as a temporary, high-profile rental that came with too much baggage. The drama, the constant external narratives, the feeling that the iconic Lakers brand was playing second fiddle to an individual's legacy, all of it had worn thin. They saw Jeanie Buss not as weak, but as strong for finally prioritizing the long-term health and culture of the franchise over the dazzling, destabilizing light of a single star. The schism was total. Friends argued. Family group chats blew up. It was no longer a debate about basketball. It was a civil war over the very soul of the Los Angeles Lakers. Is it a global entertainment platform for superstars? Or is it a familial basketball institution with its own immutable rules? The leaked ultimatum didn't just threaten to trade LeBron James, it threatened to tear the fan base in half permanently.
me like a little small crack in the window that LeBron probably could go somewhere. It's a 5% for me. It's 5%. It's 5%. I wouldn't say 0, but 5%.
0.
And that 5%.
First of all, smart man, LeBron. He is about to go into a summer where he's trying to negotiate a new contract. He wants the max. He wants $54 million a year for 3 years until he's 42 years old.
In the center
Lakers
of the
have a history
hurricane,
of overpaying
LeBron
aging
James did what
superstars
he
that
has
they
done
feel
for 2 decades when faced with existential threats. He became a sphinx. No press conference, no fiery tweet, no leaked counter-narrative through his preferred journalists. His silence was not passive. It was a weapon of mass anticipation. He understood the power dynamics at play. To respond emotionally would be to validate the owner's narrative of too much drama. To beg to stay would be to surrender all leverage. So he chose the move that always drives the sports media machine into overdrive. Absolute, unnerving quiet. His actions, however, spoke in a deafening roar. He was photographed leaving a private gym in New York City, not Los Angeles, New York. The caption from the photographer focused on the work, location irrelevant. It was a tremor. Then his close inner circle, not him, began a subtle grassroots campaign, not of defiance, but of legacy. Stats graphics comparing his Lakers tenure to the greatest in franchise history began circulating. Highlights of the 2020 championship run clinched in the bubble for Jeanie Buss's Lakers were prominently featured. The message was a quiet, powerful rebuttal. You are considering discarding the man who delivered you a title during the most difficult period in modern sports, in your first decade of ownership. Most tellingly, there was no movement toward reconciliation, no smiling photo op with Jeanie, no public statement of commitment to the Lakers. His silence on the matter was a statement in itself. I am considering my options too. By not denying the trade possibility, he made it real. He turned the owner's ultimatum into a mutual staring contest. He effectively said, "You think you can move on from me? Let the league see you try. Let them see what offers you get, and let them see what I decide to do." This put the Lakers' front office in an impossible position. The leak was meant to signal strength, to regain control of the narrative. But LeBron's silent, unmoving stance flipped the script. Now other teams were reportedly making exploratory calls, testing the waters for a king's ransom trade. The Lakers, by not immediately and forcefully squashing the rumors, looked not like a powerful entity taking charge, but like a hesitant one shopping its most valuable asset. The leverage LeBron lost in the owners' meeting, he regained in the court of public and league-wide perception. He reminded everyone that while Jeanie Buss might own the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James still owns the NBA's attention. And in that economy, attention is the ultimate currency.
And stepping on teams.
We just want to learn from our previous situations. And we've had leads before, and we did not hold that lead. We did not keep the pressure going, and we learned from that. We want to continue to learn from that, and I think the best, the greatest teacher in life is experience. So we've experienced times where we had leads and we didn't play well as we would like to, and tonight we learned from that and we got better.
What do you think about the second unit, especially talking about the second unit, how you guys were able to get rest? Talk a little bit about Quinn Cook and his performance as well as the rest.
Quinn was great. I mean,
we have now arrived at the most volatile, uncertain moment in modern NBA history. This is no longer a contract negotiation or a trade request. This is a fundamental collision of two irreconcilable truths. For Jeanie Buss, the truth is that the Lakers as an institution must survive and outlast any single player, even a transcendent one. The wear and tear of constant crisis management, the erosion of organizational authority, and the personal fissures with franchise icons have created a cost that, in her calculus, now outweighs the immense benefits. Enough is a statement of preservation, an attempt to reclaim the steering wheel of a ship she feels has been on autopilot for someone else's destination. For LeBron James, the truth is that his legacy is a carefully constructed empire, and the Lakers were meant to be its final, glorious capstone. Playing with his son, adding more championships in the iconic uniform, solidifying his stature not just as a Laker great, but as the Laker, this was the storybook ending. The owner's resistance isn't just a business disagreement, it's a narrative disruption of historic proportions. His silent stance is the posture of a king who believes the kingdom needs him more than he needs the kingdom. The fallout is a lose-lose scenario with catastrophic optics for someone. If Jeanie Buss trades LeBron James, she will be vilified by a massive portion of the fan base and likely preside over a painful post-superstar rebuild, accused of letting ego sabotage glory. If LeBron forces a trade or walks away, he risks tarnishing the final chapter of his career with the stain of discord, of being the legend who couldn't make it work in the league's most storied franchise. The Lakers brand and LeBron's brand, once seen as a perfect merger, are now at risk of a mutually assured destruction. This is bigger than basketball. This is a Shakespearean drama playing out with billion-dollar stakes. It's about the limits of power, the weight of legacy, and what happens when the person who writes the checks clashes with the person who draws the crowds. Enough is enough was not just an opinion, it was a detonation. And in the rubble, we are left with one haunting question that will define the next era of the NBA. When a superstar becomes bigger than the franchise itself, who blinks first? The owner protecting her legacy or the king defending his? The stare-down has begun. The next move will change everything. Subscribe for every shocking update. This story is evolving by the hour.